All right, what's going on? Welcome back as I get into another weekly Forex cast going into this week. All right, so let's look at what we have here on the dollar, right? As always, so the dollar index completed a bearish week. If you look at what I covered last week, you see I was looking for price to come into this week bearish, especially the signs were on the higher time frames and the fundamentals just drove the value. So we see initially we had this bearish engulfing on the top on the weekly. Price came back for the retest. And then this week was the continuation, or this past trading week was a continuation on the dollar. So now we had another bearish engulfing form on the weekly, which still is a sign that the bears are still in control, likely to give us a bigger move down. All right, so if we go down here on the daily, you can clearly see structure, right? From this top, lower high, right? Lower high here, price broke structure. And then we see here another break of structure, and price gave the retest here, which is setting up for another wave down. So the daily closed bearish. That's a nice indication. If we look to the left, this is a previous top of supply right here. So we're still trading under that with the retest of that for the breakdown. So I like for this to continue. You can even look at this on the 4-hour. You see that lower low is being created. All right. So now, from a structure-based perspective, I would say still look for sales on the dollar. Now, we could see price is breaking down here, possibly pull back, retest maybe, but overall, I like for this to continue to set up. Now, if price was to come for a deeper pullback, then I'll be looking at structural levels like this previous low, and still to set up for the fall. All right, but based around how that daily closed, I think it's a good chance that price sets up and just holds below this retest right here. All right. And we're going to see how some of these dollar pairs formed and how it's pretty much going in line with this. All right. So if we look starting at GU, if we look at GU, all right, I actually am still in this buy, held it over the weekend. This is a signal that I've called out, but you can see what we got here. If we look at the daily, all right, we can see on the daily, I was anticipating price to pull back and continue because price shifted here from this level of demand. We had a pump up, a creation, a lower high created right here, and then another pump creating a high, and then price pulled towards really a psychological level of 1.25, and then it rejected from that. And then it came down, retested, and you see now here on the daily right here, price had a nice daily close. Now, if we look to the left, you always look left to go right. Right? This top right here, this level of resistance, right? Resistance in the past. So price just basically closed right back above that level here on the daily, which is also a nice sign. So I am looking for continued buys here on GU. And then we can also break this down. If we look at this on the 4-hour. Price came down, basically a retested structure here, right? You can even look at this as a psychological level as well. 1.24, but overall, it was just retesting this previous structure high. And we created a double bottom right there. Also, it's a good sign that price took out the low, right? This was the low initially. Price found support. It came back, retested that low, took it out, wicked it, and then held above. All right, closing above. So I like this low here. I like this to hold. All right, which also is above. I like the price to hold above this daily candle. So overall, I would say look for a continued opportunity to the upside. All right, continue opportunity. Price may pull back, may start to pull back some, even if it's something like this, right? But overall, I would say look for price to head up to 1.25. Now, if I'm looking for price to create a high and break through 1.25, if that happens, then you can expect price to go even higher. All right. Looking to the left, the price comes up and actually breaks above this completely, then overall, I like for price to give us a even bigger wave to the upside. All right. So that's GU, bullish bias. EU, same thing. Price ended the week bullish on this retest. If we look to the left, this is the daily. We look to the left, this was a major level of structure in the past. All right, you can zoom out, right? Really, this was around this major level of demand right here in the past. All right, so with that major level right there, you can also see right? It was also support or demand right here, right? So price just had a firm close holding support at this level. So a nice close here on the daily. This is a good sign, right? So it's pointing towards bulls. It's pointing towards bulls. Same thing, price did the same thing here. It found support here initially, came down, took out the low, grabbed liquidity below there, right? Wicked above it or closed above it still, it's still pumped, all right? So overall, I still like this to the upside. You know, you may get some type of pullback, you know, some type of pullback maybe within structure there. Some slight pullback, but overall, I like for that daily candle to hold and see another wave up. Gold, looking at gold. All right. So gold also continued up, of course, with dollar being bearish. Gold continued its pump, had a strong pump last week. And now looking at this on a weekly or the daily, we got a nice bullish engulfing on the daily. All right, nice close on the daily. So overall here, even here on the 4 hour, you know, price shifted, created higher highs, right? Uptrend structure. So now I would still look for potential buys on the dollar, especially, on gold, especially if the dollar is going to continue bearish. I like for this to continue bullish. So how I would play this or how I would look at this potential. Dollar is holding at a level right here. We look to the left, you know, this is a previous level of supply right here, right? So we could just possibly hold support here and just pump, right? Hold support here and then pump. But if that doesn't happen, price is likely to at least come back to this prior structure high right here. All right. So you can see price possibly come down towards here for a retest instead of for a potential continuation. So I would look for that possible scenario as well. So you just got to see how they play it. But overall, I would still look for buys on both. And AU, similar to the other pairs, going in line, as long as the dollar stay bearish, then you can expect this. So the dollar did, AU did give it like a little fake out. It started showing signs like it was going to drop from this top, formed like a little even star here, but you could see this daily candle just closed back above that formation, going in line with the weakness of the dollar. So with my bias being bearish on the dollar, I like for AU to continue to the upside, you know, maybe pull back some first, but overall, I like for this to set up to continue further. All right, and then now looking at some of the yen pairs, GJ was a nice sell that I took to end the week. Now we could look at this. It's interesting. These yen pairs are at interesting levels. We look at this on a weekly. We are in a major level of supply. Watch, look to the left. The price was here in the past. This was a nice top. All right, so that's where GJ just rejected from last week. The weekly is rejecting daily. So it's interesting to see because price did just come back down towards this level of resistance and it's rejecting. So I want to see if price is going to hold. The way yen moves, it's been a lot of, you know, you got to be careful because overall the yen index has been in the downtrend. So that's why GJ's been in such an uptrend. So I would look at this from this perspective. This could be just pulling back here to continue down further. But for even stronger confirmation that we're likely to head down further is if price holds here and comes down, right, and breaks structure. If we get a break of structure, look for a pullback or maybe a retest opportunity for the next potential wave down. Because if not, this could just continue its uptrend and continue to pump or even pump towards these highs again before any fall. UJ was a really nice setup, going in line with the bearish dollar. So we still could potentially get a fall, continued fall here on UJ. What gave me the confidence that this was going to set up for another fall? I was looking at this on the daily and I saw this big evening star printed right from this top. All right. So on this pullback, it was a nice opportunity to catch this fall, right? On this pullback, it just set it up for another wave down. All right. The market is just made up of impulses and corrections. Usually when you see a strong impulsive move away from a level of resistance or supply like this, All right, you look for the pullback or correction and look for the next wave down. And that's what it gave. All right. So with that, it broke this structure right here. Right. So this will be an area that I would look for a potential retest. Right. On the 4 hour, we're still bearish here. So potential retest structure within here, and then look for price to give another wave down. All right. That's what I would look for potentially on UJ. That will go in line with the weakness of the dollar as well. You know, come down towards this level of support. You know, we could look for price to potentially break that, but that would be the next area that I would look for. Now, if price comes down here and completely breaks this, right? If it comes down and completely breaks this, then you could look for UJ to set up for an even bigger move to the downside. All right. If it comes down and not just hits that level, but actually breaks through it, then you know, we could be setting up for a bigger fall. All JPY also gave a nice setup. This was just a simple setup, like really supply base. You can see here, we also at a major level of supply, looking to the left. This was a top, had a big fall. So you see prices rejecting from that same level. On a daily, we got a bearish engulfing printed and fell more. On the 4 hours, when I had confidence that it was going to drop right here, you had a nice evening star rejection here from supply. That's a good sign that the sellers are coming in. The daily and the 4 hour, if you're looking for those big moves, are key within the week. Nice evening star rejection, had a slight pullback, and then a nice fall. So really here on that pullback, these are entries, right? Stop loss above this evening star, above supply. And from there, price drop over about 130 pips, right? It's a 1 to 3 risk reward. So those are the type of setups you look for. Now, similar to other yen pairs, it's pulling back now. This could possibly be a pullback to just continue, all right? It is pulling back, right? So within this pullback, you could potentially look for another potential wave down, all right, on AJ. And lastly, CAD JPY. When it comes to the fundamentals, CPI for the CAD is now coming. There's been a lot of CPI events. We got FOMC meeting minutes on Tuesday. And then for the dollar, unemployment claims on Wednesday for the dollar. Flash services for the euro on Thursday. GBP flash services on Thursday as well. And then for the dollar on Friday. So we have a few events, high impact. So with the CAD, potentially CAD CPI could maybe be setting up for some bearish value in the CAD. Because one thing I've noticed with the fundamentals, I pay attention. I always want to know what's coming in, but usually it's already priced in. Like the technicals are usually setting up already, and it's showing what it's like, what likely could happen. And a lot of times, you know, the fundamentals just drives the value to complete what the technicals was already showing. All right, so if I'm looking at this from a technical perspective, before CPI even come for the CAD, here on the weekly, we're in this major supply zone, and we got like a shooting star type rejection here on the weekly. This is showing signs of potential bears coming in, right? And then you had a rejection there on the daily, bearish engulfing form, and then it started to drop, right? So you can even look at structure here on a 1 hour, and it's setting up for like downtrend structure. So this could be setting up for that, right? So, I mean, possibly on a pullback, something like this on CAD JPY, you know, we had the breakdown there, maybe pullback or retest and set up for another wave down. I like potential sales here on CAD, but CPI is going to set up and bring that value. All right. But for right now, GU is the trade I'm in. If you are in the VIP Discord, I will update you guys on any other trade opportunities, any signals or anything I see opportunity for. If you're not in the Discord, you know, you still can tap in to our free Telegram. I do send out updates, do send out setups. All right. But if you're looking for a more hands-on and be a part of the community, more hands-on approach, I'm always active in there. I call out signals and things like that. You can tap in to the VIP Discord at the fxwave.com. Be sure to like and subscribe. Please help us out with the algorithm. And I hope y'all got value out of that. Value. Hope y'all got value out of that, man. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. Shalom.